Naeem Mahmood. I'm the director of Brash, Turks, the debut feature, which is showing at the Berlinale at the EFM. And I've met with Bruno Chatelin here, the legend.
Just now, legend.
That's right. He's the man that launched Boyz'n The Hood. So yeah, we've been catching up, been having a little chat about the film and sharing stories, because I'm actually a massive fan of the way Boyz'n The Hood was launched in Cannes. Because back in like the late 80s, I was a huge fan of NWA.
Yeah.
And this is before the film came out, right?
Right.
And suddenly we're like watching the TV one day and we see Ice Cube in Cannes, you know. It's like with his mean face and the girl, we're like, what? He's in Cannes, Ice Cube! And that for us was just like, we got to watch Boyz'n The Hood, you know. So thank you for doing that launch, because it really helped get Boyz'n The Hood out there in Europe. And I'll never forget it, because as I say, NWA was my favorite band of all time. And I guess NWA is like kind of like the films that I want to make, you know, films that don't give a fuck.
Tell me what you heard about the launch. Where did you find out? Besides discovering on television, which was part of my job.
Yes.
But you said you earlier that you read things about the way the film was launched by the studio, for which it was one of the first. Sony was launching this as one of the first ethnical launches, and we did some really specific things. But what did you know about it besides seeing the publicity?
I think one of the key things, as I was saying earlier, is Ice Cube. Ice Cube was the fact that he was in the film brought a lot of attention to the film.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Because NWA at that time in the UK, they were underground, but there were certain people that knew about it, and those that knew about it, when they found out that Ice Cube was in Boyz'n The Hood, it was like, we need to see that film. And it was a film that we could kind of relate to, you know. When I was growing up, I was kind of growing up in the streets of West London, in Ladbroke Grove, you know, in that whole sort of scene. And suddenly we hear about Boyz'n The Hood, it was like, wow, this is a film we can kind of connect with, and we can kind of, you know, relate to, or, you know. And it was good to see a film like that, because there wasn't stuff out there, you know, at that time. But it wasn't like a big deal in the sense of like, we've never seen anything like it. We knew that those sort of stories were there and happening all the time, but it just wasn't being represented on the big screen. And then to see it go international and not just being stuck in a little ghetto in America, or, you know, being stuck in a little ghetto in Europe somewhere, and then and no one hears about it. The fact that it was put out there internationally was great, regardless of color or, you know, whatever. It's just a great fucking story. Do you know what I mean?
So, it changed a little bit in the perception, the attitude people had together.
That's why it's a great film.
Yeah.
You know, great films, they change things. They bring things into the, you know, into the mainstream arena that people don't know about. You know, you want to see something new, or you want to know about a new world. But as I said, you know, for a lot of people, and those people in America that were going through that's nothing new, you know, obviously. But for a lot of people who don't know, it was, you know, a big deal to, you know, to see that. It's like, wow, we didn't know this was going on in Compton. Do you know what I mean? Is this happening in LA, in a major city, like all this kind of gang violence? So many people didn't know. Even today, a lot of people don't know, you know. So great films are about bringing things to the forefront, you know. And the fact that, you know, you got behind it, championed it, because at that time, it was not something that was usual, you know. But to see that it's a great story and to push that was fantastic. So no, it's a legendary film. It's one of those films which created a genre. You know, it's a film that kind of really raised the bar and set a standard, and unforgettable. I think he should have retired after Boyz'n The Hood.
Yeah, there is something that kind of a side benefit on this movie was the consciousness of this is our home, our turf, and we love it, and we're staying here. Yeah. And I remember precisely Ice Cube saying, I didn't quit South Central, I lived there. I said, why? Because it's happening, a lot of violence. No, I love it, it's beautiful, I stay here. I did put a few walls bigger than other people, because I'm a target.
Yes.
And my friend, I can't remember the name of his friend, who was shot, you know, one of the rap singers was shot a few years before. By the way, can you, you said some of them, filmfestivals.com audience, might not know what NWA stands for. Can you reveal that?
NWA stands for Niggas with Attitude. And that was the name of the band.
It's fantastic.
And they were like the world's most dangerous band at the time. And there's never been a band like it. ever again. But they were hugely talented, as you saw with Ice Cube in Boyz'n The Hood. But the film also had heart. You know, it wasn't just let's show the violence and the gang and this. It actually had heart. Whereas nowadays, even when you come to the Berlinale, you see so many films which they're just trying to grab attention and there's no substance, right? But with Boyz'n The Hood, it was grabbing attention, but it had substance and it had a great, great story. And films like that, you know, you don't see very often. You know, bring Boyz'n The Hood to the Berlinale back here and screen it again. You know, seriously, shake up the festival a bit.